speak on Wednesday, and I actually told him that, you know, life is such a great blessing. So I remember sitting here right where you are, just as this happened a year ago.
This very week that we celebrate so many wonderful things that Dr. Martin Luther King did for our communities, that we had such a tragedy happen over in the island of Hispaniola, as most of us know it, in the Dominican Republic. I was with a doctor this morning over at the border of Haiti and the Dominican Republic, and they say that it's nothing like we could ever imagine the pain that our people are going through right here in 2010. So please keep them in your prayers and understand that we are not alone, but they also are not alone. And I am so happy because of this great spirit of rejoicing and celebrating the history of Dr. Martin Luther King. We do this by proclaiming today that we will not leave Haiti alone. And East Elmhurst, I know, is in Haiti, and Haiti is in East Elmhurst.
That's right.
Thank you.
I'm pleased to be here with you this morning. I think our councilwoman has given us a great message. I think we have a responsibility today to renew our understanding of our common humanity. Martin fought for the world. He was recognized as a leader around the world. People around the world understood his message. And that was the dignity of man to be respected and revered. So in this time of trouble for the island of Haiti, and then on this day when we celebrate his birth, it is so appropriate that we stop for now, think about that, but act. Martin wasn't just about good thoughts. Martin was about putting good thoughts into action. Many people thought the concept of nonviolence was one of weakness. Sometimes, particularly in our community, because we are a polite people, people take our kindness for weakness. They didn't understand the steel that was in Martin, fed by his faith. And it was that steel that brought racism and segregation in this country to its knees. This community has steel in it. It will not be divided. It will not be turned against itself or others. It will operate as we always have, in the spirit of Martin, with kindness and generosity and love for fellow man. So in that, we're here to say to Martin, we will continue your work because of your life.
Where there is a problem or some catastrophe in the world, there's always a community here that is mourning and grieving. I shared with the mayor and the governor in a press conference. Queens has 25,000 members of the Haitian community so far counted. And in each instance, my office is always compelled to do the right thing by everyone who lives here. And I remember tsunami. We raised money for tsunami. I have a special way that we did that. Also, in the Caribbean, when we had terrible floods, Barbados, Jamaica, all of the islands were affected by it. We also raised money for them. And now Haiti. We have a great Haitian community in our borough, and I am going to be working with them. I've already contacted all the heads of the hospitals. We need supplies. My priest, Father Dubert, who is usually here with us, he is Haitian. And we have a group of, the diocese has a group of about 20 doctors, all who speak Haitian, understand the language, ready to go. They're going to leave on the 23rd, and we're going to make sure they have enough support.
Good morning. How is everyone? I'm glad that we're all here today. Today, we're here to celebrate a legacy. Today, we're here to celebrate a man who stood up for justice, not injustice. Today, we're here to celebrate a man who stood up for equality, not inequality. Today, we're here to celebrate a man who wanted all of us to have a place at the table. Today, we're here to celebrate a man who worked on unity, not division. And we're also here to celebrate a man who was a a trailblazer. Although that's not what he was working for. He was working to send a message, a loud message, that we all need to be working together, that we all need a place at the table, that we need to be represented, that we need to fight for justice, that we need to make sure that anytime there's any inequality, that is fixed. Here in East Elmhurst, in Jackson Heights and Corona, many of our elected officials are working together in unity to make sure that message stays alive, to make sure that equality stays alive. And I pledge to you, working with many of the elected officials that are here today, that we will keep that dream alive, that we will keep that legacy alive, because we need to make sure that we pass that along to our future generation. That's why we're here this morning. We're here this morning to remember. We're here this morning to remember the legacy of a great individual who was a visionary, a great individual who saw beyond himself, who saw that it was something more than just him. He wasn't about selfishness. He was about selflessness. He was about making sure that everyone was included. And that's why we're here, to pass that along to the next generation. So I am glad and I am honored to see so many people in this room this morning, because we need to keep that dream alive.
Direction of late pastor Brooke Bush, who helped, along with his wonderful wife, who brought this idea to the scholarship, education scholarship ministry 25 years ago, to organize and do such a breakfast that we are celebrating right now. It was asked me to ask the pastor what he thought, and I said I was so honored, I was so happy that the community scholarship ministry, scholarship education ministry of First Baptist Church thought enough to do what is right. And on this silver anniversary, it was right to have a person, an individual, a wonderful saint who has a warm spirit, who will come and be our guest speaker and preacher. Amen.
Now an angel of the Lord said to Philip, Amen. Go south to the road, the desert road, that goes down from Jerusalem to Gaza. So he started out, and on his way he met an Ethiopian, a eunuch, an important official in charge of all the treasurers of the queen of the Ethiopians. This man had gone to Jerusalem to worship, and on his way home, he was sitting in a chariot, reading the book of Isaiah the prophet. And the Spirit told Philip, go to that chariot and stay near it. Then Philip ran to the chariot and heard the man reading